growing up, being grown up, what does it mean? What does it mean?
Yeah. We should know. We're certainly grown up.
Are we?
And what I can tell you is that growing up is certainly more than just the aging process, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. It's not really to do about age.
Well, it does have to do with age as well, but it's
I don't think so.
superficial.
Because I meet people that are
Yeah.
60 and they don't act grown up at all. They're so totally irresponsible and
That's true.
I don't know, not.
You wouldn't say they were like real grown-ups for what
For
we
me,
think.
a real grown
Yes.
up is someone that takes care of themselves and others.
Right, takes responsibility for their actions,
Yeah.
kind of, yeah.
And is self-aware as well of what the effect that they have on other people. So they're not just living in their own bubble. They know how they make people feel.
Well, that's a big one, yeah, definitely. So that is what we're going to be talking about
in this week's episode
of
of
Get Real with the English Sisters.
And of course, there's a famous Peter Pan that never wanted to grow up.
There you go, yeah.
And I think in some respects, I am a grown-up, of course. We've had children and everything.
Oh, yes, we're definitely
But
grown
not
up.
that having children defines you being grown up.
No.
I think when you have children, though, you see yourself through their eyes. You regress back into when you were little and you kind of grow up again through them. If you know what I mean.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
Yeah, because you relive everything. Like you play again, for instance, because you play with them.
Yes, yeah. You remember that you used to play certain things and then you play it again and you can find that childlike enthusiasm within your own inner child.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to have
But
children
of course
for that.
not. No, you can. Of course, there's many ways in which you can discover that playful element.
A lot of the times it's with pets as well.
Pets the same. Well, they're like children, aren't they?
Yeah. You see how they play with a little cardboard box or something, and you can become enchanted by that as well. But yeah, definitely. The whole thing is today, I think, we talk about aging a lot, and you don't want to age and trying to keep yourself looking young and keeping young, but
but keeping yourself young doesn't mean that you're not grown up, though. I think.
exactly. That's where there's the difference.
I mean, they say young at heart, don't they? I
Yes.
think there's these reasons why these expressions exist.
Yes.
Because young at heart means, yes, you're grown up and you're responsible, but you also have that childlike enthusiasm within you and curiosity that children have.
Yes, and you haven't hardened and become
and
cynical,
become bitter.
Yes, and sarcastic, and that's sort of like you think, oh, when I see a grown up like that, I think, oh dear, that's a hardened soul in there. It's like there's the heart's got like a coconut shell. It's there's something that hasn't quite gone not the way it should have, but certain things in life can make you hard, and
Of course.
grief. Yes, there's lots of things that can cause. I mean, I'm just making me think about it because it's actually a syndrome called the broken heart syndrome, where you can actually where you can actually apparently die. I mean, this is just something I saw on a fiction in television. But I've heard about it. I mean, it's like one of these, these doctor fiction things. Really famous. It's like Grey's Anatomy and stuff like and The Resident, yeah. And there was this one episode where this person came in with this broken heart syndrome, and I didn't actually.
No, you have got physical symptoms when you have a broken heart.
Yes.
Of course. Because, I mean, we can't really separate our minds and bodies. I don't care what anyone says.
No matter how much we try.
Yeah, we're all one, aren't we?
We are one.
If we're going to be holding a lot of tension and upset from something, we're obviously going to feel it in our bodies in some way, either in back pain or headaches, or you're clenching your teeth, or you get tummy aches, high blood pressure, whatever. It's going to all come out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually very it's very ridiculous, really, thinking of just treating the symptom without understanding how the mind is.
Exactly. That is quite ridiculous. That's not very grown up.
No, I mean, you go to a doctor and you say, oh, I've got this, but hey, you've got to think, well, how's the rest of your life going?
Yeah.
You can't just treat the acid reflux. Maybe there are, like what you were saying, there's lots of other areas in your life that are giving you anxiety.
And you might not realise it, because you remember that time that you had acid reflux.
That's why
and when the doctors said it, you said, no, I'm not stressed.
No,
I'm fine. And yet, and they said,
I was super stressed.
Anything stressful going on in your
just
family?
as well she asked me that.
And you said, no, not really. But then you started thinking about it, and there was a whole load of stuff.
There was tons of stuff, and I thought, gosh, it's amazing how I just sort of...
Because sometimes you can't feel it, can you? You don't, you have the symptom, but you think you're fine. You don't actually feel.
Because it wasn't sort of, it was directly, because my husband was changing jobs at the time, and obviously it was stressful, but I wasn't like really...
You weren't that aware of it.
I wasn't that aware of it, or really, really freaked out. I mean, I didn't kind of realise the massive impact it would have actually had on our family. Probably if I'd seen it, in the future. But yeah, it was pretty bad, my acid reflux at the time, yeah. And perhaps if I'd... when she actually did ask me that question, it made me think about it. But yes, so all of this.
But do you mean, and now you see a lot of phenomena of like grown-up children going back to live with their parents again, and like we had that, we had that friend that you were telling me about. That the daughter's come back now when she's in her 40s.
She's 43.
Yeah, and she's moved back home.
I know that I don't know.
With the excuse that she's going to look after her so-called elderly grown-up parents, but
they're not
that.
Really, no, I mean, they're both in their, I think one is in their early 60s and the other, the mother is like, she's like our age. Yeah. I mean, I'm 57 now, I'm going to be 58, yeah. So, I mean, we don't consider them elderly just yet.
No, not just yet.
And so, yeah, he was telling us, oh my gosh, my daughter's coming back home, and, that's not that common though, surely, is it?
I think it is now.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's getting more and more common as people are, also with the housing crisis and everything, people are struggling more financially, and so they're thinking it's quite nice to move back in with your parents. I mean, for me, that would have been horrific.
Yes, for us it would have been,
because we were very independent.
No, not from our generation, definitely not.
But I think things are changing now. They're finding it quite cushy just to be back with mummy and daddy.
So what are you saying then?
So I'm saying maybe some people don't really want to grow up that much. Because I think also growing up, growing up is like taking care of yourself and of your, like wherever you live, of your own food and your own shopping.
Exactly, yeah.
Taking responsibility for your health, for your bills, for your financial situation, for your love life.
Not just blaming others.
Yeah, it's not just about being, I don't know, it's not just about being serious. Like, people think grown-ups are serious.
Well, when we were little, I used to think grown-ups were serious, but, now that we have officially grown up.
We see that they're not.
They're not.
There's a lot of people that aren't that grown up. And some people even manifest very childish behaviours. Like that one time you said that the owner of a massive company was hiding under his desk because someone came in. I remember you told me that story one day.
Yeah.
That he was hiding under his desk.
So as not to be seen.
So as not to be seen. I mean, that's what you would consider a child would do that. I remember when we were little, we would run up the stairs if anyone was coming that we didn't want to see.
Yes, yeah.
Mum would say,
because the fact that he had this instinct to hide is like, very,
very child.
Is very childlike, and also very. Well, yeah, it's very not grown uppy, if we want to say, because it's yes. I mean,
the opposite of being grown up, because a grown up would just say, "Hello, can I help you?"
And yet he certainly was a grown up, by definition, over 50 or something. You know, so definitely. We've also had that. Yeah, I'm remembering other cases with one of our publishers once as well, and There are very many different
It
occasions.
does happen a lot.
It does indeed. So, yes, that was quite unusual as well, that circumstance. Do you remember?
Unusual,
We were
yeah.
rather surprised by that. So there are certain behaviours that grown-ups can, adopt that are very childlike.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder why. What happens to that person? Why is it that they don't want to take...
Yeah, responsibility. Yeah, and it's sometimes, people do behave like a child when you would think, hey, what's going on? You're supposed to be grown up and mature about this. Or people that lose their temper very quickly and that they have like childlike tantrums over things.
Throwing stuff around. Yeah. And you think, goodness me, what aren't you the CEO of this, this business? What on earth is going on? Yes, you can see these things. Does that mean that they're not grown up, or does it mean that they just have some...
They're struggling.
Yeah, perhaps all of us have...
Adulting, it's called. Adulting. There's a program where they said, are you an actual adult? You're supposed to become an adult when you're over 18, at least in
I think that's not true, is it? It's an ongoing process.
It's an ongoing process.
I think it's a lifelong thing, really.
Yeah.
You can be continuously growing up every day.
And I think you need help as well with it.
To grow up?
Yeah.
Well, you definitely need help growing up.
Mm.
You need a whole community.
They used to say that you had to be pushed out of the nest. Children had to be like pushed out of the nest
in order to grow.
Order to grow, because sometimes people, children don't want to go and grow up because it's hard.
No, it's hard.
It's tough.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's tough, but then there are so many rewards, and when you actually, it helps your self-esteem, doesn't it? Once you actually manage to
overcome,
get out
because
there.
They're really their fears.
Their fears, fears of everything, fears of just doing stuff alone. I think just growing up, going in and opening your bank account, and I mean, you don't even have to do that now. You just do it all online.
Yeah, it's
basically it's. In a way, it's easier.
In a way, it's harder.
Yeah.
It's harder now because it's harder to gain financial independence at an earlier age, which was easier before.
Yeah.
For our generation. So now it's harder. But I think, financial independence does come with growing up as well. But there's a lot of really young people that aren't financially independent, and then you look at them and you think, gosh, you're so responsible. You're such an old soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think it is?
I don't. I mean, it's a delicate balance, I think, of learning how to become more self-aware and become responsible for your own actions, which is something that you learn. If you have a good community around you, you do learn how to do that as a child. You learn that if...
Good friends.
Well, yeah. You learn how to treat your friends well. You learn how to... If you've got to complete a task, you learn that you get that task done. You feel good about yourself, and you probably get other people start relying on you.
Yeah.
And that becomes part of the growing up process. You have people who rely on you.
Yeah,
they depend on
they
you.
do.
And they make it... It's like when they say, you get your first pet. Going back to pets again. Once you know that there is a living being that depends on you,
that you have to be responsible.
Then you'll go out, you buy the food, you make sure they're comfortable, etc. So this whole thing makes you grow up. So what is it that actually makes you grow up? It's living life and
taking responsibility.
Exactly. Getting through, getting tasks done, accomplished. That's what makes you grow up, I think. And some of us have to grow up sooner than others because life
is harder.
Yes.
And some people never grow up because they haven't, also because in a way it's selfish, I think, of parents not to allow their children to grow up. Because you think they may be thinking they're protecting them, but they're really doing the opposite.
The fact is that parents want to be needed, and that's one of their issues that comes into play when they won't allow their child to grow up, it's because of their need to be needed, to be wanted. So that's something you've got to think about. That's becoming self-aware as well, is thinking, if I am doing this all the time for my child won't learn how to do it themselves. Thus, who's gaining from this? It's the parent is gaining. They're becoming fulfilled by thinking, I am needed all the time. But then in the end, you're not helping. You have to think about that. You have to become self-aware with those things as well. If you're overly protective, perhaps, or you're overly always wanting to do everything.
Yeah, and if you're on the other side, you have to, maybe say to your parents, look, I need to, be able to grow up.
Yeah. If you're listening to this and you're at that age when you need to become...
to be more independent.
Yeah, you want to fly.
You want to make your own decisions.
Absolutely. It goes both ways,
and not
doesn't
have to always second best them as well, because if you make a decision then your parents say, oh no, I don't think that's the right choice for you.
Yes. You have to realise that if you are a young person listening to this, that your parents aren't, just because they're adults doesn't mean that they're necessarily, they're not fully grown up yet. They're growing all and every day, so they can grow with you if you learn to communicate together.
Yeah.
You have to communicate your wishes and desires, and they have to learn how to communicate theirs as well.
And listen.
Yeah. And you will grow. You'll be able to grow together. There's nothing as wonderful as having an adult child, that you can...
That can grow with you.
Yes. Because
makes you grow.
They always make you grow. Every relationship in your life will make you grow.
Don't they?
Yes. If you allow the window of learning to take place, you will learn. You'll learn from every single person you meet, and that's how you grow.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. You learn from every person you meet.
You do.
That's how you grow.
Yes. Yeah. You have to be open to that. You have to be self-aware once again and think, okay, I'm going to listen a little bit more, even though I think that person looks like they have nothing perhaps to offer me or to teach me. They probably do.
They probably do.
More than what you know.
Well, let us know what you think. If you're grown up, I think when it comes to clothes, there's a big discussion about it. Oh, Kitty's come to see us that we're talking about pets.
Yeah. So little cat's come in.
Little cat's come to see us. Yeah, she wants to be heard. Okay.
Oh, hello, Kitty.
Hello,
Kitty.
Kitty cat.
It's been lots of interruptions today on this podcast.
I think there's not that many grown-ups around us. There's everybody wanting our attention.
Oh, dear me. This is funny. If you're watching on YouTube,
maybe you can see.
come on. Yeah, you can hear the purring. She's our little rescue one. Hello.
She's a little grown-up one. She had to grow up fast. She had a tough beginning.
She did, didn't she?
Gosh, yes. We thought she was a little kitten, and then the vet said that she'd already had a litter and everything.
Yeah,
she
poor
was
little
older.
thing. Yeah, he said, "Oh wait, no, she's definitely not a kitten. She's had loads of kittens."
Tiny.
No, she's.
She likes a podcast. Do you want to be?
She's coming. I mean, if I put the mic down, you could probably hear her purring. This is ridiculous. Hello.
Anyway, I think we've got to go and
deal with this now.
go and feed her. I think she's gone to sleep now.
Yeah.
Okay, let us know what you think is growing up. As far as fashion is concerned, we don't feel grown up yet. We can wear what we want and do what we want, can't we? We don't feel like if anything's off limits just because you've reached a certain age.
It's more about taste, really, and what you like, isn't it? Yeah.
What makes you feel good?
What makes you feel comfortable, within your own skin, so it doesn't really matter. No. Thank goodness there are not that many taboos nowadays,
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Let us know what you think, and I think we're going to go off and have a little snooze, because this one little kitty's putting us to sleep here with her purring. Little nap like what the babies do. Well,
right.
Come and say hi on YouTube. Please do subscribe. It helps our channel grow. And of course, we'd love it if you would leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast. And just have a good week. And I think growing up is good to feel grown up, but it's also always good to leave that childish curiosity within you that makes you smile and laugh and giggle, whatever age you are.
Absolutely agreed.
Yeah. Lots of love and smiles from
the English sisters. Bye-bye.